Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Kyle Lowry. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast. I am your host, Freddie Rivas. And who, sir, are you?
I am the producer, Matt Duncan. Freddie, you got to do the Kyle Lowry opening again. He wasn't traded. We only lost Norm, which was tough. But, I think it was Kyle that would have been really gutting,
Yeah,
me.
we know Raptors fans are pretty split on this issue, but we also know I am not. So I was very excited to be able to do the Kyle Lowry again, and for the rest of this season, I will enjoy it and I'll try to relish it.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
we got a great pod today. We got Vivek Jacob, we got Adam
Big.
Christie.
Huge.
I was like sweating because it's a little bit warm, but also because I was like nervously excited. We got some good questions. A tumultuous time for the Raptors. It has been hard, but it's also been interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting times, but you never know. They're still as bad as it's been. They're not that far from,
Damn right.
pretty high ranking in the East.
We talk about like how to stay focused through this rocky time, the trade deadline, weird Raptors facts.
This is something for me to learn. I've never been through a Raptors thing like this before.
I hope you don't have to go through it too much, but you know what? I'll guide you. We're going to make this. It's going to be absolutely okay. You're a champion now, so don't forget that.
That's
we talked about
true.
that on the pod too. But Matt, there's before we get to all the b-ball talk, all the good stuff.
Yes.
Where can people find us? Help us out. Get an anti-itch toque.
Right.
Check out our network.
Check out our network. We're on the Sonar Network. We're the #1 sports podcast on the Sonar Network. We're also the only sports podcast.
Only one.
The Sonar Network. But if you go to thesonarnetwork.com, you click that beautiful and more button, and we are top level of those podcasts. When you click that button, we're right up top there. So you got to check us out. You can listen to the podcast there. We got all kinds of fun links that you can click. And with our Twitter and our Instagram, as I said before, we got that link tree. I planted a link tree. I put all kinds of ornaments on it for our website and for our Patreon and for our Shopify. I mean, Spotify's on there too with our podcatchers.
We got the five.
Shopify, if you want the toque. It's getting a little warmer now, but a lot of people are working out with toques on to increase the sweat. So I would say you got to get one of these damn toques if you want to hit your elliptical or your bike or your treadmill. And you never know when those cold spells come, because they do. Climate change is a nasty fella. So it's just you don't know what you're gonna get. It's a box of chocolates out there in the air. So yeah, get one of our toques before they go sold out. Okay, and click our links and please give us a rating. Please give us a rating and please subscribe. And that's all I have to say.
Matt, I am lucky to have someone like you who hey folks, got to get a toque first of all. Second of all, lots of things about these toques. Like, we've had convo about ears falling off of your head. Right. This one featured a Forrest Gump quote mixed in with climate change. So we're going places. But that's all the good info. And I think I just, want to let listeners of the pod know, we talk about the deadline. We don't talk about Matt Thomas, and particularly we don't talk about Terence Davis. And that's, something we've talked about on the podcast, not wanting to avoid, kind of dealing with the difficult, information or lack of information we have and frustration and, an unresolved unresolved allegations that are bigger than the NBA and have female victims that can't be forgotten. So with him being traded, me and Matt were talking before the pod. We are going to let this go because he's no longer an NBA or no longer a Raptors player, but with a little bit of an indictment because we don't think the Raptors handled it well. And it was sure they were caught, in a difficult situation, but
our hands are tied is a shitty excuse.
Yeah. And as a fan of the Raptors and as someone who believes women, this was a very, very disheartening and disappointing position that was taken. And like Katie Heindel has said in the pod before, you are, or in her writing, sorry, you are taking a position by not taking one. Right. So,
yeah. And sorry, can I just clarify?
Yeah.
There's nothing with Matt Thomas. We just traded him and didn't talk about it, right?
That's correct. I'm so sorry. I do not want to loop those two in together. But just because the trade deadline, we actually didn't even talk about Norm too much, but yeah, we talked about the deadline.
I think we're still reeling from like trading him and then playing him 2 days later. Like that sucked.
Right? Too soon, as Nurse said.
Yeah. That's pretty rough. And did you see him when he lined up on our side? Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Did I see him? I was crying my eyes.
Oh,
okay.
God.
I couldn't see him through all the tears. Maddie, let's get going here on this pod. But before we do, I'll just say stop Asian hate, Black Lives Matter, defund the police, and email your city councilors. Maddie, if you feel like we are good to go and to start this pod, please, sir, just give me those sweet words. Okay. Okay, let's get rocking here. This is our first pod after the deadline. I am super excited about both of our guests. It's going to be an incredible podcast. Let's do this. First guest, this is his first time on the show. I first discovered him, I guess, through Raptors Republic, but I listened to him all the time with Locked On Sports, with Locked On Rappers with Sean Woodley and a bunch of other hosts of other people. I did the lineup with him a while ago with Dwayne Watson, and I just love his basketball opinions, and I couldn't be more excited to have him on the pod. So give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Vivek Jacob. How's it going, buddy? This is your music. Everybody gets music.
I'm feeling it. We got some Tampa vibes. We got some Florida vibes. Get to the beach, just hang out.
Yeah, man. My first intro for everyone is always a little bit sloppy. I'm going to stutter a bunch, so I'll smooth it out over time,
No, I like it, man. I'm glad to be on a podcast where my opinions are appreciated. The fact that you love my basketball opinions definitely got me already wanting to come back.
Sweet.
But yeah, I mean, doing that lineup episode, that was fun. It was nice being in a time when we could actually see people and hang out in the same area and we didn't have a clue what social distancing meant.
Oh man, no idea.
Good times.
I think I've told this story on the pod, but the first time I did the lineup, like, I'm not a big shoe guy. Like, I've learned a lot. But the first time I did the lineup, Dwayne was like, okay, everyone, like, check out like the shoes, whatever. And they were like these Black History Month, like these knit style shoes. And they were so cool. And I was like, a bit nervous. And I was like, oh man, I can't wait to wear these on my Saturday run. And like, everyone just kind of looked at me like it was a record scratch moment. And they were like, oh, you don't like wear these while you play. And then I was like, okay, I'll play it cool here. And I was like, yeah, because my feet are going to be so itchy. And then there was another record scratch. And then the guy, like the mic guy was like, I think, Freddie, let's just mic you up because you're being weird. So that's my lineup story. Cool. Let's bring on guest number 2 here. He's probably one of the first people to ever do this pod. A hilarious man. has amazing reach on the basketball court. I do believe has a basketball injury right now, which he'll talk about, I'm sure. This hour is 22 minutes. Yuck Yucks, Sirius XM. He's been a top comic. He's an incredibly funny person and an amazing dude. Give it up as loud as you can for Adam Christie. Yes.
What's up, everybody? Where are my Christie heads at? I know there's Christie heads listening to this podcast. I got a following on this podcast.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Can I ask a question? Can Matt hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can people see this?
That's right.
Like not well. Like what do you mean? Like while we're recording?
No, is there? Yeah, I mean, is there like a thing where you put the video up?
Yeah. After, yes.
You do put it up.
We do put it up. Yeah.
So people know I'm sitting in a gaming chair right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good.
I'll make sure to tag that on YouTube.
Very glad that that's out of the bag. Wanted to keep that private.
I thought you were worried about you being overexposed, maybe your image, but you just want people to know you have a gaming chair.
No, don't want people to know that.
Oh, sorry, you don't. I mean,
know the opposite.
Right? Yeah, Adam's got a big comfy chair. Could be any
blur
chair.
it out now. Oh, it's gonna take forever.
We'll blur it out. Let's dive right in, guys. Let's start talking some Raptors ball. Maddie, good sir, I know you're there. Please give me your most delicious Raptors sting. Okay, let's start with you, Vivek. So this is, you know what, this is going to be a butchered question right off the top. So just follow me if you can. If this season was a Raptors ship, and it's things were very turbulent, people are starting to get seasick, and they're looking for land, they're looking for the horizon, they're trying to make it through these last 25 games. What's your advice as far as like where should they focus? Should they be focused on development? Should they be eyeing out, Mobley and Cade and the draft? Should they be, hoping that, hey, we can get in, even if we're in the 10th seed, we can win 2 games in a row, and then we'll play, Philly or Brooklyn or whatever. Like, yeah, where are you? What's your temperature reading? What do you advise for fans?
If you're a fan, find any land you can, because
fair.
It's ugly. Because the thing is, by not trading Kyle Lowry at the deadline, I don't think you can have Kyle Lowry on your team and not fight for a playoff spot. I think that's just who he is. That's his identity. That's been the culture that's been set while he's been with this franchise. And so I think as long as he's playing, their goal will be to make the playoffs, to make the play-in tournament, and see what they can do with that. That being said, it doesn't look good. They've won once in their last 13 games or whatever it may be, twice in the last 16. And so their odds don't look good. And that's where I tell fans, when they're losing, take that piece of land that tells you that gets them more lottery balls and gets them closer to a higher draft pick, hopefully. So yeah, if they go one way, you hope that they can give Kyle that one final hurrah if he doesn't resign and, go off on a competitive note, because I'm sure that's the way he'd like to go out. But hey, if they lose, and the other thing too is if the losing keeps going, Kyle Lowry, that foot has kind of been, that issue has been lingering all season. So if they get to a point where it's like, hey, things aren't looking good for the play-in tournament, we're just going to shut it down and protect you, not only just protect your leg, but protect your upcoming free agency while also, trying to get those lottery balls. I could see that playing out too.
Yeah, I think a Kyle shutdown is for sure in play. It just seems like the margin for like a victory for the Raptors is so thin. And you need Kyle kind of like being Kyle, playing, like taking charges and like playing full tilt. And like also, I always bring up the Steve Nash foot injury as like, you can have the healthiest player. I think he was 40 when he first injured his foot, but you can have a really healthy, amazing guy and still like something like a foot injury or a back, or that's what happens at the end of like a long competitive career. Is it's precarious and it's fragile. And I think, everyone involved in Kyle's career is definitely taking note of that. But yeah, find any land you can is a really good takeaway. Adam, is your advice find any land? Is your advice, I don't know, commandeer the ship? Like where are you at?
My advice, everyone, is take a breather. Don't even look for land. Look, it's very bad. Do you remember the film Titanic, James Cameron, 1996?
Never heard of it.
No.
Well, there's a scene in the movie where the ship is going down, and Rose, the main character, is an old woman, and she's looking at an old, I believe, ring. Think of that as the NBA championship ring. We won a ring. What else do you want? Who cares? I mean, the worst case scenario, we're like probably the 9th worst team in the league, where we get a bad draft pick and we don't make the thing. Even if that happens, we won a ring. So I'm chilling out. Listen, every time something bad, when I broke my arm, I was like, the Raptors won a ring. I don't give a fuck.
Ha!
I could die tomorrow. The Raptors won a ring. And the Raptors are doing good. Like, I didn't know Sadiq Bey was a basketball player until the Raptors taught me about it yesterday. It was very nice. If you would have stopped me at gunpoint yesterday and told me to name 3 players on the Detroit Pistons, I would be dead right now. But now I know the names of all of them.
I feel like you'd be like, Hamidou Diallo, and then you'd blank out.
I used to call the Detroit Pistons. They should be called Mason Plumlee and Friends.
That's pretty good.
Because that's basically. It's also nice when you're like, when you're watching a game, you're like, oh, that's where Wayne Ellington is playing. That's what happened to me yesterday. It's a very nice moment where you're like, Wayne Ellington. Oh, Michael Carter Williams plays on this team. Good. Okay. Now
where in the world is Wayne Ellington? Detroit is the answer. Adam, let's stick with you for a sec, and just kind of moving on to. I feel like Vivek brought this up already. I don't know if Adam just dropped out of the stream.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay, he's still there.
He's here in spirit. He's here in spirit.
Hey, well, we can deal with a disembodied voice. That's absolutely okay. But no, yeah, Adam, I'm just kind of like. Where are you at? Like, not so much like how do you feel as a fan, but where do you think Bobby and Masai are at? A week after the deadline. How do you think they're feeling? Like, obviously, we've only played 2 games, I think, since. But are they freaking out? Are they like, yikes?
I don't really know. I think it may be best case scenarios that we're really bad and we get a good draft pick, right? Like maybe this is. I don't know. It's so hard with this team right now that, because as Vivek was saying, like, Kyle Lowry's not going to not try. Like, these are champions. These men are champions. They're not going to stop trying, for the love of God. Mm-hmm. Then there is a big part of me that's like, I wish we could just kind of tank it and get a draft pick. I've been poisoned. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, okay. This kind of gets to the heart of why I wanted to bring this question up. And let's go to you next, Vivek. Sorry, my stutter's acting up. But like,
no worries, man.
Do you think that like this Masai Bobby deadline move, even if it was like, hey, we're getting a younger Norm on a better contract and we'll see about Hood and, you don't understand. We really couldn't get a big. Like, even if that's a part of it, doesn't it kind of seem like Masai and Bobby are like planning for some future time, but also are kind of like, hey, if we just make sure that one player or one position on this team is basically untenable, then no matter what this team does, they won't be able to win enough games and we'll get where we want to go while still keeping the guys we want to keep. I don't know if that was too convoluted, but like,
no,
is that how they're feeling? Like,
I think they're just in a good place. When I saw them at the deadline, just say, hey, this is our price. You either meet it or nothing happens, what that told me was they are confident and comfortable with their plan B. It's like, hey, this is plan A if you can meet the asset return that we want, but we have a plan B in mind. And I think this is where maybe people get a bit too caught up in Kawhi, Danny, Serge, Mark leaving and getting nothing to transition with. I think this is where there's a big difference with Kyle Lowry, where if he just walks out the door, you have cap space to work with. And so if you're looking at a trade with Miami and saying the face of that trade is Duncan Robinson, and you're looking at a trade with the Lakers and the face of that is potentially Talon Horton Tucker, and you're looking at a trade with Philadelphia and the face of that is Tyrese Maxey, you also have to look at it and say, okay, if Kyle Lowry walks, we could use the cap space and get, for example, Rashawn Holmes and someone else. Maybe that's better than any of these trades. And so that's where I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is their plan B, and maybe that's something they feel more confident in.
Yeah. And I think, like, one thing I said in the pod last week was that, if you think Masai, Morey, or Riley are going to budge, I'm not sure what to tell you, because those guys win. They just win. Like, they don't really do losing trades. Like, I know that I'm not saying they haven't lost trades, but they have this mentality, like the person in your fantasy basketball league that's like, how about I give you Seth Curry for Steph Curry, right? Anything could happen. And you're like, what? No, don't email me again, please. But I think that's Masai and Bobby have standards, and I think those standards weren't met. I think not a lot of people are talking about the sign and trade potential with Kyle if he does want to go somewhere. And I think I don't like saying this point because I want Kyle to be just so historically good forever, and I love him so much. But I think the trade deadline market around a game-changing point guard that's 36 is going to be dramatically different than the off-season market for a 36-year-old who probably wants a bag on his way out. And I think that's, I'll be curious to see how much Philly, Miami, or the Clippers really do offer Kyle in the summer. I'm not going to lie. I will be shocked if it's 25 a year. Or what. I'm not sure what Kyle's going to really command, but it should be fascinating. I think I strayed a little bit, but Adam, kind of the same. Wait, did I ask you this question yet, Adam? No.
I don't know, dude. I'll go somewhere else with it if you do.
I love that both of you guys are just rolling with my ADD confusion. This is good.
No, you're doing a great job. What are you, nuts?
I know. Hey,
we're all friends here.
We're all friends.
Exactly.
Okay? We're all friends, and we all love
Freddie and
Raptors.
Friends. That's the new name of the show.
Yeah,
hey, Freddie and Friends. Branding, be damned. Actually, Freddie and Friends rolls. So, I'm looking at my questions. So, just how you feeling with the deadline, the way out, or week out rather, and kind of where are you at with Gary Trent Jr. and this fact? So, yes, that's where I was going. Sorry. Mm-hmm. So the Gary Trent Jr. fact is so mind blowing, and it's just one of those basketball things that it's there's too many things that are lined up. Like the fact that they played 41 games, averaged 10 points a game, both played for Portland, were traded to Toronto. Mm-hmm. Also shout out Gary's brothers' names, because it's just too good. It's I think it's Garrison. It's Grayson. It's a lot of versions of Gary.
Yeah, not the coolest name to have a lot of variations on.
And you know what? I'm just saying, if there was another brother, or I think they should lobby for a Grary, a Grary. You know what I mean? Just really dig in on the GR. Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's go to you first, Vivek. Do you have an equally odd or cool Raptors fact? Or funny or stupid?
Yeah, this is just something to get the the mood up to keep all the Raptors fans from jumping off the ledge. The last time the NBA was normal, the last time we had fans filling up the arenas, the Raptors were champs. Going back to Adam's good vibes.
That's a beautiful fact.
And that's
That is
just
a
like
fact.
and that's just like a hard fact too. That's like you can't take that away from us. That championship,
Everything that's
is-
happened since is just fake.
It is. It really is, and it definitely, like, you know, for baseball fans out there, like there's some symmetry between like the league shutting down after the Jays won, and going into strike, and you know COVID happening. Like obviously, you know, the pandemic's so much bigger than the Raptors, but it does feel like the wheel was broken and the era of G State ended, and like so many things kind of just like stopped and changed forever. Yeah, Adam, do you have a fact or like a
I have a quick
weird
fact,
thing?
Yes. Did you know that you know how like we're all like, this is kind of a fake season. This is an asterisk season. It's COVID. Whoever wins, it doesn't matter. I am also a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, as Matt Duncan, the beautiful producer for the show. And I just wanted to let you know that you don't have that same feeling if your team is doing good. That it is actually it actually rules to have a team doing good during COVID. So we are lying to ourselves as basketball fans, saying that this is a nothing season. I don't think they're saying that in LA. I don't think the Brooklyn Nets are like, oh, whatever, this kind of sucks. But yeah, that is my fact. It's pretty good to win.
Hey, that's also a fact.
So
I'll
I'm
take
trying
it.
to bring people down. Vivek's trying to uplift people's spirits.
Okay, well,
I'm like, listen, the Raptors are not good.
Maddie, you know what?
You did a U-turn on us. I mean, you started off with the whole, you know, I'm not worried about anything. The Raps are champs. They won a ring. You can't stress about anything. And now you just flipped it all over us.
I mean, some of these guys aren't champs.
Hey, man, Adam, you're
Aaron Baines
you know,
is not a champ.
Aaron Baines is a champ.
Well, he's not right. He's not playing
He's
like
not a
one
Raptors
right now.
champ. Yeah.
That's okay. Both of you guys' facts are like, you know what? Mine's maybe more obscure, so I think I'm doing okay there.
Go ahead.
But wait, no, I want to see what Matt's got. Matt, do you have a Raptors fact or a little nugget?
The only fact that I know is that, and it's a sad thing because they're not playing at the Air Canada Centre, obviously. Pardon me, Scotiabank Arena. But they voted the best shawarma in the world is right in our own arena at Sorta Shawarma. Did you know that?
That's
Wait,
not
who's
true.
this- who's
Is
this
that
voted
true,
by?
Matt? If
Poof.
oh, okay. You know what? that my friends is just a Matt joke because he knows I love to talk about Sorta Shawarma. I really miss it. I totally dig it. The hot lettuce doesn't work for me, but everything else with that place is like gold. But like, yeah, the hot lettuce. I don't know why. You know,
I heard that Norman Powell requested a trade because his branded shawarma wasn't the official shawarma of the Scotiabank Arena.
wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, 'cause as we all know, he's dating a falafel. So
Yep.
his beautiful falafel wife is probably very jealous at the.
Oh,
fact
I'm
that
sure
he's
she's
hanging out
furious.
with Sort of shawarma falafels. Disgusting.
Okay.
One of the
guys,
random facts I did see for today was that Mo Pete hit that shot. It's like the anniversary of Mo Pete hitting that crazy circus shot in that Wizards game where Michael Ruffin throws the ball up, he catches it, boom, makes the buzzer beater. They go to overtime, they win the game. So that was a wild time. And
Michael Ruffin, right?
yeah,
Is that his biggest moment in the NBA?
probably.
Wow.
I'm sure he had some like, you know, big defensive stands. I bet you there was a moment or two where he like blocked somebody's shot. But yeah, like, you know, that was such a weird play too. Throwing it in the air to waste time is like not a basketball thing.
It seems like a movie you do at like a kid would do at the end of Air Bud.
Yeah.
Like it
I
seems
think-
like something like on like Mike or like a basketball movie. They'd be like, "Oh, throw it really high. You can't score if I throw it really high."
I also think he meant to throw it far, like throw it to the other end of the court where it would have been impossible to like get off a decent shot. but I think it kind of semi slipped out of his hands, and so it just ended up going up instead of having any distance on it.
Okay,
one of the best Raptors calls, Chuck Swirsky calling that.
Okay,
Which,
thank
by the
you,
way,
Adam. Because
Chuck Swirsky is now on that. I just saw for I think $35. You know that ripoff of Cameo that's like Canadian, but it's all like Brett Hull and stuff. Chuck Swirsky is on that website.
hey, okay, you know what? This is a perfect transition. Let me just say my actual fact isn't as good, but the fact I'm gonna like bring up because of this discussion is a bit better. So the actual one is that there's a Tim and Eric video, Spiran, where a couple Spurs are in. And so far, 2 of those 4 Spurs that make up the band have become Raptors. So Kawhi and Baines. And the other guy's Patty Mills. And I kind of forget who the 4th is, which is why this fact is not that great. It might be like Davis Bertans. I'm not sure.
I hope so.
But okay, here's my better fact. So when Chuck Swirsky was still the dude for the Raptors, he had a thing for season seat holders where he's like, "Hey, if you're a season seat holder and you want to have lunch with me, let's do it." So me and my 3 brothers we all share season seats. We're like, we got to do this. Like, have lunch with Chuck. It's gonna be crazy. So we're like, "Hey, Chuck Swirsky, like, we're 4 brothers. We're all Raptors fans. Like, let's have some lunch." And like he responded right away. He's like, "Oh my God, I love this. This is so great." And then for the next couple months, dude gave us the runaround. Like, I'm not even kidding. It would be like, "Okay, what do you guys think about Wednesday?" And then Wednesday would come and be like, "Sorry, I don't know what to tell you guys. Busy life. Chuck's doing things." Like, it was like 2 or 3 months of him. And then like after I think like 4 changed things, we were like, we just decided that he's probably guaranteed too many lunches to too many fans. So we're just going to let him go. We're just going to let Chuck go into the wind. Anyways, that's my interesting Raptors fact.
Meanwhile, you could see Rod Black at Zanzibar basically every night.
Wow.
Zanzibar.
I can't believe you're going after Rod Black.
Don't tell me 10 minutes.
No
after
comment.
Any sports, after any Raptors post game, Rod Black turns into a cloud and his physical body is at Zanzibar.
Hey, Rod Black and his boy, the other Chuck are gonna come after you, because when Chuck comes to Toronto, he's always looking for Rod Black. Okay, so
yeah,
I don't know what to tell you. Matt, you got something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say one real fact that I forgot about with the Raptors, but I remember years ago I listened to a podcast with someone who designed the original logo for the Raptors, and I just love that, like, that original Raptors, like cartoonish design was really just all to get us kids in the mid 90s to like the team and then grow into hardcore fans. Like, it was their whole strategy.
It didn't work on me.
Yeah, it just like,
it's like, hey, Jurassic Park's #1. You got to ride this wave.
That's why we all love Jurassic Park so much when they refer to it. But yeah, I just find it's like, the Yankees didn't have to do that when they started, did they?
Yeah, no, but just when they started, it was all like there was a movie about these Yankees, and it was a park full of Yankees, and I don't know where this joke's going, but
the Yankees were very close to being called the hoop and stick game, the New York hoop and stick.
Yeah, I guess there was probably like plays at the time, so the New York Shakespeares.
The New York Shakespeares, yep.
Cool.
But I think that's a good enough fact to move on from. I just assumed, like, literally, I've watched one episode of The Knick, so I assume no doctors use gloves, and I don't know, it's horse and carriage style stuff.
And as we all know, they named the New York basketball team after that TV show. So moving on.
Hey, there you go.
Bless us all.
We found an endpoint. Yeah. Okay, Maddie, let's move on here. Why don't you give me your most delicious NBA sting?
National Basketball Association.
Gotta let people know. Yeah, a lot of people tune into this pod and they're like, I don't know what the NBA stands for. I like basketball, but if you just break down those initials for me, or
A
That
lot of
acronym.
people get a lot of comments on our Twitter asking what NBA stands for. So that's why I do it.
Yep.
So once and for all.
That's right. National Basketball Association.
There it is.
Okay, Adam.
Yes, Freddie.
Who won the deadline? What team is, and I guess you can take that in whatever direction. Like, winning isn't necessarily contending this year. There's different ways to win. But yeah, like who got meaningfully better?
I can't. What happened during the deadline again? Seems like it was 10 million years ago. I feel like the Raptors have lost 3 times in a row since the deadline.
So much. You got
Wasn't it the
Gordon to the
busiest?
Nuggets. You got Vucci to the
Gordon to
Bulls.
The Nuggets is fun. That's okay. Although they lost.
Yeah,
pretty bad
Victor
yesterday.
Oladipo to the Heat.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I mean, none of these really moved the needle for me. This is a junk deadline. Or
Wow, how dare you?
If anyone won trade season, it has to be the Nets, right? Like they got James Harden.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's like that. Like we all knew James Harden was going to move this season, and they just got him way before the deadline. So
Yeah.
they kind of crushed it.
How many years does Vooch have on his contract?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm going to say 2
Yeah,
2 years left,
that
maybe a
sounds
player
about right.
option.
Maybe the Bulls one. I mean, that's a pretty exciting piece. It's not like the Bulls are going to win the NBA championship, but it is nice to have a good team.
They also got Daniel Tice, who we know kills people in the playoffs.
Yeah. Daniel Tice, a popular fantasy pick by me because I only remember when we get destroyed by a certain player that I overvalue. The Tyler Hero effect.
Yep.
God bless Tyler Hero for forever now being picked 75th overall in fantasy basketball and then averaging 12-1.
Yeah, you don't see it for Tyler. I can't tell because I feel like he had I feel like everything about Miami's run was like kind of
Fake?
contextual. Yeah, a little bit fake. Like I don't know. Like I think. Yeah, I mean, I was so surprised. Like I was one of the people who didn't think the Bucks were gonna lose like that. So like I had a lot of friends who were like, "Oh, Miami's like before the series, like Miami's gonna kill the Bucks," and I was like, "What? Absolutely not!" And I was so wrong on that I was kind of like a little bit in awe of Miami. But hey, this is a trade deadline question. Yeah, who do you think won the deadline, Vivek?
I think it's a toss-up between Miami and Denver. I'll probably shade it to Denver just because they kind of had a glaring need after Jeremy Grant left at that wing position.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with the way Grant's been playing, it's looked like, oh my God, they really could use that. So I think to get Aaron Gordon, I think Gordon, I don't want to say he's one of those guys that could have used a change of scenery because I think he kind of is who he is at this point. But I do think he adds something to that team, especially with the way Michael Porter Jr. has come on as a scorer. And so him as the 4th scoring option and then defending wings, I think that's a good role for him. And so it was a major weakness that they addressed. And then they got JaVale McGee too, because I know obviously everyone likes to make jokes about JaVale.
I love McGee.
But that's a solid pickup too. And like you think about the deficiencies in Jokic's defensive game, his ability, McGee's ability to protect the rim, they address 2 major weaknesses for me. So I'll probably give it to them.
Has there ever been a time in the NBA or a trade deadline where as many players got demoted? Like you have Aaron Gordon now the 4th option. You have Andre Drummond, who's basically like, you are in case of injury, you will play. You have like LaMarcus
Vucevic.
Aldridge. Oh yeah, I mean
because I think Zach LaVine's the number 1, or maybe they'll share. So maybe that's wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, and like LaMarcus Aldridge, like you're gonna barely play it. Like you are here just to do this. Like we've seen. So this is like the real demotion of the big man, and especially the Lakers winning and people being like, "They're back, baby. We're going big." And now it's like LaMarcus Aldridge, you play for 4 minutes a game.
Yeah, I know the whole big conversation. I mean, I know we talked about this in the Raptors segment, but it's in an odd place because like you have these superstar bigs and then like this like glut of bigs that can kind of play max like 22 minutes a game. But then also the league's going towards small ball, but also you need some bruisers to like take the edge off. We're in a weird, like, yeah, like all big men are serviceable unless they're like a superstar territory. I'm sorry, they're not all serviceable, but like that's what you're looking for.
Mhm.
My pick was actually the Nuggets as well, and I was gonna try and make like a cute pick, like Orlando, because they decided to like blow it up again. But then I was kind of like, I'm not giving Orlando weird points for that because they're like perpetually in a rebuild. So
Yeah, it's like Orlando's blowing it up. It's like, what have they been doing?
I know, sort of like, yeah, they've been. I mean, they tried to win actually, but like
they were the perennial 8th seed for 12 years. Yeah.
One thing I will add
sorry.
quickly is just you mentioning Orlando. I thought that's the direction the Pacers should have picked as well. And so I think they're a bit of like a low key loser for not selling and just kind of, staying in limbo.
Yeah. And I feel like the league's been, at least semi interested in like Miles Turner for a long time. So I feel like they should have maybe got something there, especially if they don't think Sabonis and Turner, it's like a future front court.
Yep.
Yeah, my pick was like the Nuggets for most of the reasons you said. I also just kind of think that, sometimes it's as simple as this, like Jokic having Gordon as an option is going to be good. And I just think it's that simple. I think it's like, who knows what he can do independently, but I think for Gordon, I'm not saying, Jeremy Grant, couldn't catch lobs, but it's a different thing with Aaron Gordon. And I think, and Jamal Murray and, their team's also so deep anyways that I feel like if he doesn't do well or doesn't work, you can kind of say, you know what, we're going to play Millsap or whomever, you know what I mean? Let's hit up our last NBA question here. Or my last NBA question. And that's just the Draymond thing. Like they're obviously, it's defense. So there's never going to be like an exact precise answer, but it's a fun debate. And, he opened up he said that he is the best defender of all time. And he's willing to go up against anybody, I guess, like in the comparison trade machine. I guess that's what he's referring to. But yeah, I think once you take in the ridiculousness of the statement, for me anyways, when you think about it a little bit, you're kind of like, he is a very special defender. And I guess for me, it's like he was a really good defender through an era of an offensive explosion. So I don't know how to marry those two things. Like he changed the position. But yeah, anyways, the way I'm going to frame this question is, let's go to you first, Adam. Do you think Draymond Green is the best defender of all time? And if not, do you think he's in the top 5? Can you rattle off easily 5 defenders that are better than him?
I don't think Draymond Green is the best defender of all time. I don't like it when people... It's like giving yourself a nickname. That's like if I said, I want everyone to call me Big Dog Christie. No one wants to call you Big Dog Christie.
How sure? Are you sure about that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we can start right here on this podcast. I think Draymond Green could be the best of all time of trying to get on the NBA with Shaq and Charles and trying to get media attention all the time. I mean, he's good. He's very good. I don't know how to assign value to defenders because it's hard because there's not a lot of stats throughout the ages. But I mean, I don't know. Is he better than Bruce Bowen? Is he better than Tim Duncan? I don't know. He's very good. Just be good. Why are you stressing out about the best of all time? Shut up.
Hey, he's doing it for pod material. Okay.
Certainly, when Steph was injured and Draymond was playing and that team was terrible, it wasn't well, at least they have the best defender of all time. No, it was oh, this team's awful without Steph Curry. So,
very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, go ahead, Vivek.
Oh, no, I was just going to add, if Draymond Green was the best defender of all time, I don't think Pascal Siakam would have cooked him the way he did in the 2019 NBA Finals, where he made 13 straight field goals.
I'm wearing my Siakam shirt, and I tried to like flash it to the camera, but then I realized it's just a Raptors ball in the front. But trust me, it says Siakam on the back.
No, the one thing I will say with Draymond is I think he's been a beneficiary of this era where bigs have been kind of minimized. Mm-hmm. And so, you look at the position he plays, if he had to constantly match up in the 90s, early 2000s against a Tim Duncan and a Kevin Garnett and a David Robinson and a Hakeem Olajuwon, how good is he looking against those matchups, right? And so I think with the way the center position is kind of diminished, I think that's why he's able to benefit. And like he plays that free safety role so well. And I'm not saying he's the only one that does, but part of why he can do that is because of the way the game is played now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, I asked Adam for like a quick 5. You just rolled off a quick 4, which is kind of where I was like wanting to go with this question. And I'll just throw in Rodman and Pippen would be 2 guys. So that's 5 and 6. And I think he has been a big, beneficiary of this era. And like, it's the whole defense conversation, right? Because they're all connected and it's really tough to isolate in the same way you can do with offense and those type of stats. Like, Clay's a good defender. When he played with Durant was incredible defensively on that team. I don't know about Harrison Barnes or like Steph necessarily, but Iguodala, like the team was really good as well. So, and that's also true of Steph and Clay's shooting stats. Like, what would they be if either of them had like a Ben Simmons beside them or something, or a non-shooter as well. So yeah, it's kind of the fun nuance of basketball, the margins, but
there's also a different level of fatigue when you have to defend the way a Kevin Garnett or a Tim Duncan did, or a Scottie Pippen did, and then also take 20, 25 shots on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Well, one of the most tiring things anyone could ever watch is like, just watch some highlights of the Pistons Spurs series. I think one of them, like Duncan averages like 24 points and like 13 rebounds and like 2 blocks or something insane. And every final score is like 72-71. It's so laborious and tiring. And yeah, I think like people, maybe, Raptors fans can kind of get a look at it with OG, but when someone's pushing you, it is extremely tiring. And it's a bit of a different thing than running all over the court. Mm-hmm. And, you see that with a guy like Boucher who, he can cover serious ground running around the court, but also under the basket. It's like, man, like if someone has wider hips, you can move them, and it's tough. But yeah, okay, I think we've got there. Let's finish this baby off with some quickish questions. What do you guys say? You want to do some quickish questions?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Woo! Maddie, give me that quickish question sting.
Quickish question. Okay. So this is quickish questions. Will I find?
There's just so much color going on.
Yeah, you know what?
What do you guys like? What do you guys like? What do you guys like?
If you're checking out on YouTube, Matt's one of those neighbors who just is going a bit too wild. Had Christmas lights, had Halloween lights, but has Easter lights. Like, buddy, chill. Like, no Easter lights. No Easter lights around here.
Still got some Christmas lights going.
Wow. Okay, we're getting a bit of a tour of Matt's space.
Freddie actually has the biggest, greatest decoration of all, which is the Roku screensaver going on in his background.
Hey, the Roku screensaver is absolutely wonderful, and I got way more free channels than I thought I would, like some Ken Burns docs and stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh.
We got it going.
I've watched the Roku screensaver more than I've watched Disney Plus, I think. And I'm not
That's
just saying,
fair.
Like, it's in the background, I'm doing something and it's on. I'm sitting there looking at the Roku screensaver.
I enjoy it.
What theater is that? What building is that? Oh, I just noticed Spider-Man's in it.
I keep thinking there's going to be a new city. Nope. goes around. It's the same city over and over.
Absolutely not.
Okay, let's do some quickish questions. I'm gonna get through this as clearly as possible. I'm gonna stutter, slur, stammer, probably gonna misread a comma. I'll be confused. That's okay. You have to answer as quickly, as calmly. And yeah, that's it. Just quickly and calmly. You know what? Forget about the calm. I'm adding the calmly in. Don't worry about that. You have to answer as quick as you possibly can. That's it. No phoning a friend. Matt, I'm looking at you.
Yep.
Okay, let's go. Adam, Vivek, Matt. You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. Adam. What do you do to understand the grind?
Whoa. I'm suddenly not calm anymore. To understand the grind,
Yeah, what do you do?
I would say to understand the grind, you have to do stand-up comedy 40 times a week at a different Fox and Fiddle around the Greater Toronto area, and then you can talk to me about the grind.
Wow. Okay. Adam coming in not so quick. That's okay. Vivek, will you watch every game no matter how bad it might get?
I don't have a choice. It's my job.
Yep.
Makes it easier.
There you go.
God bless you both, Vivek, for having a job, and Freddie for having a basketball podcast in the era of the Raptors that we are just about. Vivek, when did you start covering the Raptors?
2015, I want to say.
Well, welcome to the shit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've been watching them a lot longer than that, I'm well aware of how dark things can get.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When you keep hearing like different announcers being like, "No, this might be as bad as it gets," I'm like, "Oh dear, we're Raptors fans. It can get worse."
Wait, can I ask a quickish question to Vivek?
Okay, sure.
Vivek, to ingratiate him with the fans, should Aaron Baines be mic'd up to remind everyone that he is Australian?
Yeah, I'm all in on players being mic'd up. And so, yeah, especially when, he's got one of those floater shots going and it just somehow doesn't even end up being a shot. It just ends up being a turnover.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear exactly what he's thinking after that.
But I think also people, if they knew
or
he
a
was
missed dunk.
Australian, they'd be like, "Oh, he's Australian. That's fun."
Okay, let me take this back.
Yeah, I can see that.
Matt.
I can see that.
Yeah.
When we're allowed to see the Raptors back at Scotiabank Arena again, what song are you most looking forward to hearing during the game?
Whoa.
Oh dear. What song? Jeez.
Hit me with it. First thing that pops in your head.
God, I don't know. I don't go to as many games as you, Freddie.
Name a
I
song.
can't even hear. Okay. I don't want to say a dumb
Don't
Queen
stall.
song or something. I'm trying not to stall here. That classic one that pumps up what's the pumper? Oh, fuck. Shit. Pass.
Okay, I'll say Money City Maniacs for the Sloan fans.
Really fell
that go to-
apart there.
That's
What's
okay.
the song that
I
pumps
put the
up
pressure on you.
fans?
Okay, Adam.
Yeah.
Gary Trent's potential ceiling.
He has a child named Gary Trent Jr. and also plays for the Raptors, 3-time MVP.
Wow, so yours is like a generational ceiling. Okay, I like it. Vivek, will we see Leafs, Raptors, Jays, and TFC win a championship in the same year?
No.
I wanted you to be like, well, yes, no.
Yeah, you wanted me to give you the Jim Carrey. You're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no. That's
You're like, I think maybe no. Maddie.
that's a lot of teams that the MLSC would be going into the tax for. I'll put it that way. So I don't know if we're gonna see that happen.
It's a lot of Rogers and Bell money. Maddie.
Yes.
Do you sometimes wish we went all in for Harden?
No. I don't wish that. And now that I've thought about that last question, I will say any Arkell song I want to hear because I want to see how distracted Nurse gets. If he stops coaching, looks up, does air guitar, I want to see what happens.
I'm sure he's full distracted.
But no, James Harden, I don't think that's who that. I don't think that's a star that we want to go all in for.
Fair.
For the Raptors.
Will Nick Nurse ever do the halftime show?
With Arkell.
Oh yeah. You know what? Yeah, I did. Nick Nurse is just like, here, boys, take my clipboard. Just straps on a guitar. Like, oh my god, this is gonna rock. Sorry, that's me. So I don't know why I would speak like that.
I remember Jordan Boise, friend of the podcast, was ripping on Nick Nurse, being like, "You don't see Greg Popovich in the E Street Band. What are you doing?"
Hey man, but if you did see him in the E Street Band, you'd be like, "Oh my god, are you like the guy from Sopranos?"
He'd be like a baritone sax for sure.
Okay, Adam.
Yeah.
For the Raptors, is Dwayne Casey the new LeBron?
No, absolutely not.
Correct. Vivek, the Raptors will end with the blank pick in the first round of this year's draft.
That's a tough one. I'm going to say the 8th pick in this year's draft.
Okay. I like it. And
Dwayne Casey was drinking during last game. Remember when LeBron grabbed that beer?
Dwayne Casey just
that would be Dwayne Casey doing the LeBronto drinking a beer thing would be a whole new level because it's like Father Dwayne Casey and B it's COVID, so we'd be like, oh man, this is like it would be like extra stressful. Okay, 2 more questions. We'll do one more for Matt and a bit of an all play.
Okay.
Matty.
Yes.
I'm just making this up off the dome. What is a rule change you'd like to see when Scotiabank opens again? Like something fans could do that they previously couldn't.
Oh God, that's an interesting question. What fans could do they couldn't do before? I
can't
think...
always repeat the question, Matt. He's like, let me just repeat that question nice and slow.
Okay. I think what we should be able to do is I don't know what system it could work in, but you should be able to switch with someone courtside if you're way up top. Like there should be some kind of raffle or something where
like a trading spaces,
not
and
just
then the
like someone gets Drake seats when you're not there. That happens, but I think I want to see more mixing up. I want to see the head union guy for the automotive to be up in the friggin' 500s. You know what I mean? Like I want to see. Yeah.
So wait a minute. You're saying that if you have courtside seats to the Raptors, there is a chance via raffle that you are demoted to the 500s.
That's right. Hunger Games style.
I'm here to change the rules, Adam. Okay?
Yeah. Matt's here to change the rules. Okay, last question. And this is an all play. We're looking for kind of small things for joy here in the season. So what about a little bit of Utah revenge? Not necessarily, I don't even know if we play Minnesota again, but
go ahead.
Yeah. Adam, what's the best version of Utah's revenge?
I got it right here. Yuta Watanabe wins the Giller Prize.
Wait, is the Giller Prize for writing?
Canadian Book of the Year.
Yeah, okay. That would be wonderful. It's like, yeah, okay, that's pretty good revenge. Yeah, as a writer.
And also, to answer Matt's question as well, I think people should be allowed to smoke cigarettes in the Scotiabank Arena.
Yeah. Nice. That's a good rule change. That will fly.
Yeah. Not weed, though. Just cigarettes and no vaping.
Yeah. No vaping.
Bring back the smoke.
No ashtrays either. Vivek, what's the best Utah revenge?
Just randomly dunking on Aaron Baines.
Oh, that would be wonderful. He dunks on his own team.
Aaron Baines is just there, just clogging up the paint, and Utah's like, "Hey,
you're getting dunked on too, sir." Yeah, that would be wonderful. Like, yeah. That kind of could happen too. I could see like Baines like just turning at the wrong time. Like,
I mean, that's basically how Utah ended up getting dunked on.
Totally.
Baines was like, "Whoa, this is happening."
Yeah, and Bemberly was like, "Look out!"
Baines dunking on Norm. You think like, I used to think like, I wonder if the players are mean to Baines, and Baines' dunk on Norm proves yes, they were.
Yeah,
as
he's
soon as
angry.
he had a chance, he was like, "I'm dunking on Norman Powell."
Yeah.
He blocked him too. Maddie, what's Utah's best revenge?
I think he bides his time. He waits to line up someone where he can do a serious dunk on them. And I want him breaking the glass on the backboard. I want take the tech, shatter it, pull the rim down, and then fling it into the friggin' crowd.
Fling the backboard into the crowd?
the rim.
Oh, the rim. Because I was like, he's picking up a broken backboard? This is quite something.
Heavy.
Okay.
Crazy
so
dunk.
Play some discus with the rim after he's removed it from the backboard. Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, can I change mine?
Yes.
Okay, ultimate revenge. Utah shows up at Anthony Edwards' grave. Okay, this is 60 years from now.
Wow. So he outlives him.
Outlives him. The ultimate dunk.
Whoa.
That's too much. I think if Utah heard this,
super dark.
I know. Yeah.
So dark.
If Utah heard this, he was like, "Listen, you guys are not welcome."
Just outlive him.
Utah Watanabe dragging a net to Anthony Edwards' grave.
Wow.
To dunk on it.
That's a dunk of a sort. Guys,
I see why they call you Big Dog Christie.
That's
I know.
Big dog, baby.
I was watching a Canine show with Caitlin yesterday, and he kept making one of the little kids say like, "You're a big dog," and he didn't believe it, but Big Dog Christie, I believe that. You know,
what's a canine show?
I don't know. It was like Rescue Canines. It was this show in Oakland where they're like teaching dogs to be less aggressive, but in some situations more aggressive. It was pretty scary for me. As someone who's mildly afraid of dogs, I was like, "Whoa." Okay, you know what? This is I feel like a good time to end because I'm talking about my fear of dogs. You know, nobody needs this. Guys, thank you so much for doing the pod. Everyone who listens, thank you so much. We've been growing a lot recently, so share, subscribe, let people know. Vivek, let's go to you first. You're always writing and doing cool stuff, but we'll plug your Twitter and all that. But where can people check you out? What do you want them to see?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing my usual work for CBC Sports, for Complex Canada, and I'm hosting a basketball show now on CBC, which is pretty cool, called North Courts. And so we cover everything that is Canadian basketball. The next episode, it airs bi-weekly Wednesday nights at 8. And so you can check that out online.
Nice.
And so, it's a little fun show that I do with Javon Shepard and Megan McPeak, two people who know the game and have played the game at a really high level. So it's a lot of fun. So that's the one thing I definitely will plug. I was thinking also about the other question about understanding the grind. And I'd just like to say, to truly understand the grind, to make a tribute to Norman Powell, go eat an extremely spicy chicken shawarma. That's a different type of grind that you will very much understand.
I love it. That's, everyone should eat 2 spicy chicken shawarma if you spend any time in Toronto, because, you just got it. It's like the shawarmas or rotis. We got good stuff here. And sweat it out, man. I was eating tacos, sweating the other day. That's how you do it. Sorry, now I'm going into like you should sweat while you eat territory, so I'm really going all over the place. And just a shout out, man, it was I thought Megan McPeak was fantastic on the broadcast, and so entertaining and just incredible. But Adam, what's up, man? I know people are doing a crazy amount of shows right now, but what are you up to? Where can people check you out? All that stuff.
No plugs. That's a pass. Check out Vivek stuff. I'm doubling down.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay.
Eat a spicy shawarma. Watch the show on CBC. I got nothing going on. Vivek's good at his job.
Wow, that's
Adam's
like
a king.
I know that's a double big ups right there.
Listen, just everyone be cool and no one tell Anthony Edwards about the grave shit, okay? It's all be
Yeah.
nice. We don't have to at Yuta Watanabe and tell him about the grave
Oh
stuff.
god.
No, yeah,
This is the show.
we don't want any trouble here on the pod, okay, folks?
No drama, okay?
But that's it. We made it to the end of the pod. Maddie, if you feel like we're done, we're good to go, please just give me those sweet words. Okay.
Okay, mate.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.